All right, so I had a couple questions from 11-1 that we wanted to talk about, so here we go. Number 12, a data set is represented by the box plot shown, between which two values would the middle 50% of the data be found? Well, remember, right here is 25%. Come on, I don't know why that's not right. Right here's 25%, here's 25%, and here's 25%. So to find the middle 50%, it's just the box, okay? So this value is at 9. This value is at 12. So 50% of the data is between 9 and 12. That's all you needed to do for that problem. Okay, the next problem, describe and correct the errors a student made in analyzing the histogram shown. Well, they say the median of the data set is 6. We can kind of check to see. Obviously, there's 2 categories here, 2 in this one, okay, 3 and 3, so it's even. So it's somewhere in this interval. However, do we know this interval is all 6s? No, this interval is 5 to 6. So the median is somewhere in there, but we don't know necessarily that it is 6. So the median is in the interval of 5 to 6. So the median technically could be 5.5. It could be 5. It could be 5.8. We don't know. We just know that there's 5 data points in that interval. We don't know exactly what those data points are. Okay, so you really can't just come out and say, this is my median. Okay, and the last 2 questions I had were on 22 and 23. With these ones, you need to really make sure you're paying attention to the directions. The directions say, consider the data set represented by the dot plot. Create a different data display that better reveals the answer to each question. So you're not necessarily answering these questions, you're coming up with a new data set. So 22 says, how many data values are in the interval between 8 and 10 inclusive? Well, if we're talking about intervals, we know we need to make a histogram. So for number 22, our job is to make a histogram that would help us answer that question. Okay, so let's start making our histogram. Okay, notice it says it wants the interval 8 to 10. So we know that's one of our intervals. So that's an interval. So notice it contains 3 numbers. So my other interval will be 5 to 7, and then 11 to 13. Okay, so we're going to do 5 to 7, 8 to 10, and 11 to 13. Okay, and it looks like we have 1, 2, 3. Oh, I need this. Hang on. We'll redo that axis. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll go up to 8. Okay, so that's my frequency. And then this is my intervals. So first start off with 5 to 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So we draw a bar up to 4. Okay, and then 8 to 10, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So up to 7. And then 11 to 13, 1, 2, 3, 4. And my bars are really wide because they should be touching, and I made my intervals too far apart. Okay, so histogram is the best thing there. Okay, and then you could use that to answer the question if you would have 7. But notice it says create, so you need to show the other graph. Now, the last question here says, what is the first quartile? Now, when we're talking about quartiles, we need to talk about a box and whisker plot. Okay, so we're going to make a box and whisker here. So, again, whenever you're doing box and whiskers, you should always put your numbers in order. Okay, so this should be really easy to do. 5, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 3 9s, 2 10s, 2 11s, 12, and a 13. Okay, easy. Here's my min, here's my max. Okay, let's find a median. Median right here. Or you can call it Q2. Okay, let's find our Q1. Find our Q3. And now we can make our box and whisker plot. Okay, so okay, we need to go from 5 to 13. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, remember dots for your min and your max, and then lines for your quartiles. And then connect the lines to make the box, and then add your whiskers. Okay, now you can answer the question. Q1 is 7. Again, directions said create, so please make sure you create. Okay, and those are the 4 questions I had on 11-1. Hope that helped.